Hello everyone, welcome back to online lecture series on heat transfer. We are continuing our topic of radiation. Before going into our new topic, that is part 2, we will quickly revisit our part 1. So as heat transfer has three modes, conduction, convection and radiation, we have finished conduction and convection and now we are into radiation. So let's quickly go through the previous topics, that is the basic laws of radiation. So first we studied about absorptivity, reflectivity and transmissivity. That is, any incident energy flux can be divided into three different ways. That is, first is absorption, reflection and transmission, and the corresponding fraction of it are defined as absorptivity, reflectivity and transmissivity. Black body is the body which absorbs all radiations. Grey body absorbs certain fixed percentage of radiations. The next was, and yes, the white body reflects all thermal radiations, that is reflectivity is 1. Then we studied about Planck's law, that is wavelength distribution of black body radiation, which is governed by this formula. And this is the wavelength, this is the distribution of flux. And we defined E lambda b as monochromatic or single wavelength emissive power, that is defined as the energy emitted by black surface in all directions at a given wavelength lambda per unit wavelength interval around lambda. And these are some important features of the same. Now the Wien's law is applicable for shorter wavelength, that is the modified form of Planck's law. And Rayleigh-Jean's law, that is applicable for longer wavelengths, and this is also a modified version of the Planck's law. The next topic was Stefan-Boltzmann law, in which the amount of radiant energy emitted per unit time from unit area of black surface is proportional to fourth power of absolute temperature. And this is the same thing in the fractional form. The next was the Wien's displacement law, where we found out that lambda max T is equal to 0.0029 meter into Kelvin, where lambda max denotes the wavelength at which the emissive power is maximum. The law states that the product of absolute temperature and wavelength at which the emissive power is maximum is constant. So here we obtain the value of maximum monochromatic emissive power, that is proportionally with fifth power of absolute temperature of the black surface. Then the next was Kirchhoff law, in which we took a combination of black surface and non-black surface, and we found out that here the ratio of this emissive power upon absorptivity is equal to EB, that is the emissive power of black body, that is function of temperature only. And we define the emissivity, that is the ratio of emissive power of certain non-black body E to emissive power of black body EB. both being at the same temperature is called as emissivity of black body. And the Kirchhoff's law is the emissivity epsilon and the absorptivity alpha of a real surface are equal for radiation with identical temperature and wavelength. Then we studied about intensity of radiation and Lambert's cosine law. We defined plane angle, solid angle. The Lambert's cosine law is the intensity of radiation in direction theta from the normal to a black emitter is proportional to cosine angle theta. That is, I theta is equal to in cos theta. So that was the end of radiation part 1, and now we will begin radiation part 2. So let's begin. So this part 2 will be divided into 2 lectures, that is this lecture as well as next lecture. In these 2 lectures we will finish radiation part 2. Heat exchange between black bodies, that is, we will study about a factor called configuration factor. First of all, we need to focus on this figure. Consider heat exchange between the elementary dA1 and dA2 of two black radiating bodies having area A1 and A2 respectively. So let us say that here we are having two bodies. First is this body which is having area capital A1, and second body is having area capital A2, and we are only focusing on elementary areas, that is over here dA1 and here dA2. The elementary areas are at distance r apart. That is, as you can see that both the areas are at distance r, and the normal to these areas makes angle theta 1 and theta 2 with the line joining them. So for the bottom area, the normal direction is this, and here the normal is this, and a line joining between them is making an angle theta 1 and theta 2. The surface dA1 is at temperature T1, that is here as shown over here, and the surface dA2 is at temperature T2. If the surface dA2 subtends a solid angle d omega 1 at the center of the surface dA1, which is not shown in the figure, then the radiant energy emitted by dA1 and impinging on surface dA2 is given by this formula. We have seen this formula as per Lambert cosine law, and the same law is applicable over here. That is, the radiant energy which is being emitted by this surface A1 and that is being impinged on surface 2 is given by this formula as per the Lambert's cosine law. Now the projected area of dA2 normal to the line joining dA1. So here dA2 is equal to the projected, to repeat this part, the projected area of dA2 normal to the line joining between dA1 and dA2 is given by dA2 cos theta. So here the solid angle d omega 1 is given by this d omega 1 is equal to dA2 cos theta 2 by r square. So this is also being studied in our previous lecture, the definition of solid angle. So now what we have done, that we have taken this formula, that is, here in1 cos theta 1 is as it is. Instead of d omega 1 we have utilized this formula that can be seen over here, and dA1 is as it is. So finally we are getting this in1 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 dA1 dA2 upon r square. But however, the value of the normal intensity is given by this formula, that is also proved in our previous lecture. You can revisit that portion, that in1 is equal to sigma 1 T1 raised to 4 upon pi. So we have put that value over here of in1 and we have found this formula. Now this is for only elementary area dA1 and dA2, so we can integrate this to obtain the total radiant energy emitted by A1 on A2, that is given by this formula. So we have simply done double integration over area 1 and area 2. Now the solution to this equation, that is, we are now on the solution of this equation. The solution to this equation is simplified by introducing a term called radiation shape factor, geometrical factor, configuration factor, or view factor. So these are the same names of the, these are a different name of the same term. So it depends only on specific geometry of emitter and collection surfaces, and it is defined as this. That is, here the shape factor, we will call it as shape factor only, that the fraction of radiative energy that is diffused from one surface and strikes the other surface directly with no intervening reflections. To explain this part, let us say we are having this as area A1. Now to repeat the previous figure only, and here we are having the another surface which is defined as A2, and the fraction of radiative energy, that is, let us say that this is radiating total of 100%. So out of this, let us say that only 30% is striking this surface, for this particular surface, then the shape factor of this surface A1 with respect to the second surface will be 0.3. Now you should be able to understand, if I repeat, that the fraction of radiative energy that is diffused from one surface element and strikes the other surface directly with no intervening reflections. So this is some form of fraction that is being received by the other surface. Here, now the radiation shape factor is represented by the symbol Fij, which means the shape factor from surface AI to another surface Aj. Thus the radiation shape factor F12 of surface A1 to surface A2 is given by this formula F122. So we can say this as F122 because radiations are being emitted by surface 1 and it is received by surface 2. So Fij is the common word, Fij. Now F122 is total radiation from emitting from surface 1. So here I need to correct. Direct radiation. So here F122, now we will define total radiation emitting from surface 1, and the numerator is direct radiation from surface 1 incident upon surface 2. So I have already explained this part with the help of figure. Even let's see here also that this was our surface A1, and here we are having A2. So in denominator we are having the total radiation emitting from surface 1, which can be in all directions. Okay, and the direct radiation from surface 1 which is being incident upon surface 2. So this ratio, that total radiation will be in denominator, and in the numerator we will having the only radiation which is being received by A2. And we have already written this Q122 that we have seen in our previous slide, and in the denominator, that is total radiation emitting from surface 1, that is written with this, that is Stefan-Boltzmann law, sigma 1 A1 T1 raised to 4, and this integral is taken from our previous slide. Okay, so now here we have eliminated few terms. Sigma 1 is being cancelled, and T1 raised to 4 and T1 raised to 4 is cancelled, so we are only left with A1 into pi, and the integral is as it is. So now the amount of radiation leaving A1 and striking A2 may be written is in this way, that Q122, so this is, for our case, this is F122, that is our shape factor. So how this has been written? So see, the total value of Q total was equal to sigma 1 A1 T1 raised to 4, that was total. And now Q122, that is, so this will not based on this formula, what we can do, that this is the total and only a fraction of this will be received by surface 2. So to obtain that fraction we need to multiply it with F122, sigma 1 A1 T1 raised to 4, and the same formula can be seen over here, that Q122 is equal to A1 F12 sigma 1 T1 raised to 4. Similarly, the energy leaving A2 and arriving at A1 can be written in this way. So completely a reverse formula, that Q221 is equal to A2 F21 sigma 2 T1 T2 raised to 4. So the net energy exchange between the two can be written in this way, that Q12 net is equal to the difference between these two. Now when the surfaces are maintained at the same temperature T1 equal to T2, there can be no heat exchange, because the fundamental law of heat transfer is the temperature difference is necessary. So if temperature is same, then it will be 0, heat exchange will be 0, so the remaining terms are there. And since sigma b and T1 are non-zero, we can write down this, and we will obtain this, that A1 F122 is equal to A2 F221, and the above result is known as the reciprocity theorem. So this is known as reciprocity theorem. It indicates that the net radiant interchange may be evaluated by computing one way the configuration factor from either surface to another. So the net heat exchange between the surfaces A1 and A2 is given by this. We have already done this, and what we can do is we can simply replace this with this, because based on the reciprocity theorem it is same. However, the above equation applies only to black surfaces and must not be used for surfaces having emissivity different from unity, because here we have used sigma b. Now the geometrical factors for parallel planes, that is disks and surfaces directly opposed, and those for radiating between perpendicular rectangles with common edge are shown in the figures. So here now we can obtain the value of radiation shape vector directly from this chart. So here consider this as our given figure, and we are taking two surfaces 1 and 2, so we can obtain the radiation factor of 1 with respect to 2. Here we need to calculate two things, that is the value of x upon L, that is this value dimension x, and L, this ratio is on the horizontal axis, and on y axis we are getting the value of shape vector for a given value of ratio of y upon L, that is over here. Okay, so here we are getting this for parallel plates. The next is this, that is in case of a cylindrical kind of a disk, that is the radius of surface 1 is r1, radius of surface 2 is r2, and the distance between them is L. So here we are getting f122, and it is based on the ratio L upon R1, and here this curves are for our ratio of R2 upon L. So based on this also we can get the value of F12 in this case. The next is here the radiation shape factor for perpendicular rectangles with a common edge. So here the shape factor of 1 with respect to 2 . So here it is based on z upon x, that is x axis is having the ratio z upon x, and this is again the y axis gives us f122. And here we are having these curves as y upon x. So based on this we can obtain the value of radiation shape factor. The next is shape factor algebra and salient features of shape factor. The shape factor for complex geometries can be derived in terms of known shape factors for other geometries. So here, in case of complex geometries, where it is difficult to obtain the shape factor, we can obtain this value from the known shape factor for other geometries. For that, the complex shape is divided into sections for which the shape factor is either known or can be readily evaluated. The interrelation between various shape factors is called as shape factor algebra, that we are going to see in this slide. There are few facts and properties that we are going to discuss about shape factor first. The first point is the value of shape factor only depends on the geometry and orientation of the surfaces with respect to each other. This is very important statement, that it depends on the geometry and orientation of the surfaces with respect to each other. Once the shape factor of two surfaces is known, here it should be off. Once the shape factor of two surfaces is known, it can be used for calculating the radiant heat exchange between the surfaces at any temperature. So this shape factor Fij is very important for calculating the radiant heat exchange between two surfaces. The net radiation heat exchange between surfaces A1 and A2 can be written in this way. We have already seen this formula in our previous slide, and here this is the another condition that we can put, that when the surfaces are thought to be black surfaces, that is sigma 1 and sigma 2 will be no difference. Now it will be like sigma 1 equal to sigma 2 equal to sigma v. And are maintained at the same temperature. So T1 will be equal to T2. So there is no heat exchange as such. We can write down this, and we have seen this in our previous slide also. So this is the reciprocal relation. Why this is reciprocal relation? Because here the shape factor F is inversely proportional to the area, provided that both bodies are black and are maintained at the same temperature. Now this is very useful. This reciprocal relation is particularly useful when one of the shape factor is unity. Why? Because let us say that this shape factor is unity, that is F221. For example, let's say F221 is unity, then the other shape factor, that is F122, is merely a ratio of areas, that is A2 by A1, because if you see in this formula we have assumed that F221 is unity. Now the third thing is, here all the radiations streaming out of from a convex surface 1 is being intercepted by enclosing surface 2. As such, the shape factor of convex surface with respect to its enclosure is unity. So here let us take example of this for a convex surface. So this is the way it is there, the convex surface, and here all the radiations which are being let us say this to be the surface 1, that is convex surface, and here it is 2. Then all the radiations which are being emitted are intercepted by the enclosing surface over here. So everything is being received by surface 2. So that's why it is F12 is unity, and in conformity with reciprocal theorem, the other shape factor is merely a ratio of areas. So let me erase this. The next case is the radiant energy emitted by one part of concave surface is intercepted by another part of the same surface. That is, let us take another example here of now concave surface. So here all the radiations are striking each other like this. I am not drawing the full figure. So here accordingly the concave surface has a shape factor with respect to itself. That is, the shape factor of a surface with respect to itself is denoted by F11. For a flat or convex surface, the shape factor with respect to itself is 0, because as I had drawn the previous figure, that in case of convex surface it is not receiving its own radiation anywhere, because everything is going outside, or it is being intercepted with other, it is being intercepted with the other by other surface. So it is not receiving its own radiation anywhere, and the same thing is applicable to a flat plate also, that in case of a flat plate like this, all radiations are going outside and it is not being received by its original body, radiating body. So in these two cases the shape factor F11 with respect to itself is 0. So now let's take another example. So now let's take this example here. that if one of the two surfaces, we are dividing this surface, this is actually A1 and this is A2, so let's divide this into sub areas like this. So we will prove this formula that AI into Fij is equal to sigma Ain Finj. So here A1 is divided into A3 and A4. So if you see carefully in this figure, this was the whole area was A1 and this is already A2. So this area A1 was divided into 2, that is A3 and A4. So radiating surfaces arriving A1 is equal to A3 plus A4. Now we can write down this, that A1 into F122 is equal to A3 into F322, that is the shape factor of A3 with respect to A2 and then the shape factor of A4 with respect to A2, that is A4 plus AF422. Now this implies that if transmitting surface is subdivided, the shape factor for that surface with respect to receiving surface is not equal to the sum of individual shape factors. That is, the thing which is not possible in this case is F122 does not equal to F322 plus F422. So it cannot be merely a summation because the role of area is important over here. The next thing that you can see over here is that the radiating surface is A1 and the receiving surface is now divided into 2. That is, here actually this is nothing but A2. That is, A1 is having A1 is radiating surface and the receiving surface is divided into 2. So here we are having two shape factors F123 and F124. So we can write down this, that A1 F122 is equal to A1 F123 plus A1 F124. So here the summation rule applies in this way. Okay. Now the next is, any radiating surfaces will have a finite area and therefore it will be enclosed by many surfaces. The total radiation being emitted by the radiating surface will be received and absorbed by each of the confining surfaces. So a particular radiating surface will be enclosed by many surfaces. These many surfaces will receive as well as absorb the radiation. Since the shape factor is the factor that is fraction of radiating surface leaving the radiating surface and falling upon particular receiving surface, the energy balance will be given by this, that is sigma J to N, J is equal to 1 to N, Fij is equal to 1. So suppose we are having this area A1, A2 and A3, so we can write down in this way and so on. Accordingly, when the radiating surfaces exchanges heat with number of black surfaces comprising of enclosure, the net heat transfer from radiating surfaces will be like this. So it will be summation. So first this, second portion and third portion. Okay. So this is the way we are getting the net heat transfer. Now our next topic is heat exchange between non-black bodies. Here the black bodies absorb the entire incident radiation, and this aspect makes the calculation procedure of the heat exchange between black bodies rather simple, because the absorptivity is 1 in this case. One has to only determine the shape factor, that is how much of radiation leaving one surface is actually incident on another. However, in case of real surfaces, do not absorb the whole of the incident radiation. A part is reflected back to the radiating surface, and a part may be reflected out of the system. As well as the absorptivities and emissivities are non-uniform in all directions for all wavelengths. So this is the real case, which is quite difficult to analyze, and this is the ideal case of black body where things are quite easy. So here the problem is being simplified to some extent if the bodies are considered to be grey. So if you recall our definition of grey body, that certain fixed percentage of the incident radiation is absorbed. So that is called grey body, for which the absorptivities and emissivities are constant over the entire wavelength spectrum, and accordingly their average values would be equal irrespective of the temperature. So our first case is infinite parallel planes. So now what we are going to do is we are going to consider those planes which are non-black and actually they are grey bodies with having a fixed value of absorptivity and emissivity. There are few assumptions that we need to consider. First, the surfaces are arranged at small distance from each other and are of equal, so that practically all radiations emitted by one falls on the another. So the shape factor of either surface is unity. So there is no third thing which is present over here. Everything which is being emitted is received by the another one. The surfaces are diffuse and uniform in temperature, and that the reflective and emissive properties are constant all over the surface. Third is the surfaces are separated by non-absorbing medium such as air. So the medium doesn't consume anything. So this is the figure for it, and we will discuss this in detail one by one. So here this looks slightly complicated, so we will try to understand this one by one in detail. So these are the two surfaces. Here let us say that the radiation energy which is emitted by surface 1 and received over here is this. So here the emission is this E1, okay, and the absorptivity of the second surface is alpha 2. So the thing which is being consumed is alpha 2 into E1. Okay, now so this is being absorbed, so the remaining will be reflected. So how much will be reflected over here? That E1 was previously present minus alpha 2 into E1. So what we will be getting over here is 1 minus alpha 2 into E1. So this has to be reflected back, 1 minus alpha 2 into E2. So the same thing is there, that is here the thing which is being reflected is 1 minus alpha 2 into E1. Let me rewrite that, 1 minus alpha 2 into E1. Okay, now here the absorptivity of the first surface is alpha 1, so the thing which will be absorbed is alpha 1 into 1 minus alpha 2 into E1. Okay, so now we need to see how much will be reflected back. That is, this was the incident, that is how much was the incidence on the surface 1 was this was the incident one, that is the arrow towards left side, minus the thing which is being absorbed is alpha 1 into 1 minus alpha 2 into E1, which is equal to now 1 minus alpha 2 into E1 into 1 minus alpha 1. So this will be reflected, and the same is drawn over there. So here the thing which is going is 1 minus alpha 1 minus alpha 2 into E1. So because of the space limitation, you can clearly view that I am discussing about this portion that we have obtained. Again we are having the absorptivity alpha 2, so let me erase this part. And here the value which will be absorbed will be alpha 2 into 1 minus alpha 1 minus alpha 2 into E1. So this is reflected. So again we need to check that how much will be reflected over here. So to obtain that, let me use another color. That here the receiving portion was 1 minus alpha 1 into 1 minus alpha 2 into E1 minus the thing which is being absorbed, alpha 2 into 1 minus alpha 1 into 1 minus alpha 2 into E1, which is equal to, we can take few terms common, that is 1 minus alpha 1 minus alpha 2 into E1 into 1 minus alpha 2. So finally what we are getting here is 1 minus alpha 1 into 1 minus alpha 2 whole square E1. That's why the same thing you can see over here. The same thing is written over here, that we are getting 1 minus alpha 1, 1 minus alpha 2 square E1. And again this is having absorptivity alpha 1, so the thing which will be absorbed over here is alpha 1, 1 minus alpha 1, 1 minus alpha 2 square and E1. The same is written over here. Okay, this is here alpha 1, and the next thing is the amount which will be reflected back will be this, that we need to calculate. So here the incident was this, that is here let us say here the incident was 1 minus alpha 1, 1 minus alpha 2 square E1 minus alpha 1 was absorptivity, so 1 minus this was absorbed, so finally what we are getting here is so this is the value that we are getting, which is passing over here. So this is 1 minus alpha 1 square into 1 minus alpha 2 square into E1, and the thing which will be absorbed over here will be alpha 2, 1 minus alpha 1 square, 1 minus alpha 2 square E1. So the same thing is written and drawn over here. So this is the way when two planes or plates are non-black with having the finite value and less than 1 value for absorptivity and emissivity, in this way the radiant heat exchange will happen. So in this case here we will discuss this remaining portion in our next lecture, which is purely a derivation part now. So in today's lecture we have seen the configuration factor, the net radiant heat exchange, the reciprocity theorem, the relevant graphs, the features of shape factor, and the heat exchange between non-black bodies, and we took the first case of infinite parallel planes. So we will derive this in our next lecture, and we will also study about infinite long concentric cylinders which are also non-black. So this is the end of today's lecture. We will continue this topic in our next lecture. Thank you for watching this video.